Hello and good afternoon to all of us, and I hope you're safe in your homes. Welcome everyone to the College of Arts and Communication Talastasan series. To start and to open with this current lecture and discussion, um, let's talk about a little on the BA Communication program. Actually, it's the most dynamic field of study. Communication has always been shaped by time and space. The Department of Communication, College of Arts and Communication, UP Baguio, has always been in sync with the changing social landscape. The bachelor's degree in communication is actually a product of melding speech communication, mass communication journalism, and broadcast communication, and has produced many graduates who are making their mark in the media and other professional fields. Skeptical at first way back because it was a streamlined degree in communication with the fear of offering a menu of courses that are actually interdisciplinary, the Department of Communication took a huge step in the early 2000s. Currently, with around 10 full-time faculty members and around 7 lecturers, the BA Communication is moving forward, setting the pace for communication studies. With our graduates and current students who carry that CAC and with the DC pride, we look back to where we came from, a time and space that may be far different from the communicating world we have now. This afternoon, we look back to see the future, the past, and whatever direction it will take us when it comes to communication studies. So this afternoon, we have a very special professor to speak and discuss our past. Our speaker for today knows very well the routing in the path of communication studies. Professor Jimmy Balud Fong earned his BA Mass Communication cum laude from UP College Baguio. He took his MA Communication Journalism in UP Diliman and his PhD in Philippine Studies from UP Diliman. Jimmy's publications are actually on indigenous music, and his fields of expertise are within indigenous culture and language, and of course, broadcast and media. Jimmy Balud Fong is the kinatawan ng mga wika sa Hilagang Pamayanang Kultural of Komisyon sa Wikang Filipino or KWF. He is a professor of the Department of Communication and my colleague. And this afternoon, we will listen to the Dean of the College of Arts and Communication, who sees forging and understanding this going towards a desirable action and change as the ultimate role of communication. So everyone, let's listen to Dr. Jimmy Fong. Dean, you may have the floor now.
Yes, I'd like my recorded opening remarks to be played because it's an acknowledgement of previous speakers, please.
Can we have it, Sir Marvin? Thank you, Dean.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Salamat sa pagdalo sa talastasang ito sa pangalawang taon ng pandemya sa ating bayan at sa buong mundo. Sa talastasang ito, gusto nating hindi lang umusbong, kundi yumabong. Itinataguyod natin ang talastasang ito bilang kasama ng ating pagdiriwang ng ika-60 anibersaryo ng UP Baguio at ng pang-20 taon naman ng Kolehiyo ng Sining at Komunikasyon. Napapanahon ang ating tema, pagtanaw sa saysay ng ating kasaysayan. Sana sa pamamagitan ng talastasang ito, mapalakas pa natin ang ating mga landas at maghawan sa mga bagong landas bunsod ng nagbabagong panahon. Binabati ko ang mga masisipag na guro ng kolehiyo sa pagtataguyod ng talastasang ito. Gayon din, nagpapasalamat ako sa ating mga tagapagsalita sa linggong ito sa ating talastasan. Ang dating Chancellor ng UP Baguio na si Professor Raimundo Ruvillos, ang dating Komisyoner ng Komisyon sa Wikang Filipino at dating dekana rin ng Kolehiyo ng Sining at Komunikasyon si Dr. Purificacion G. de Lima. Salamat din kay Professor Francisco Rosario Jr. o Isko na isang dating guro sa kolehiyo. Papasalamat din tayo kay Professor Ruth Tindaan, guro ng kolehiyo at direktor ng Cordillera Studies Center. Salamat din kay Professor Liza Ilagan ng Fine Arts. Salamat din kay Madam Regine Cabato ng Washington Post at kay Attorney Maria Angela Teresa Sebastian ng UP College of Law. Mag-enjoy po tayong lahat. Ayun, good afternoon po. Good afternoon everyone. Welcome to the last in the series of Talastasan 2021. Let me just all of a sudden I don't know how to do this. Yeah. I've called my presentation this afternoon Transitions and Transformations, and the Talastasan Committee made the title the DC Chronicles. So basically two themes running into this presentation: transitions and transformations. So yeah,
slideshow ba?
yeah. Yeah, okay. Yes, so transitions and transformations. This is just a conversation with the group, and I would like to invite our participants to share and fill in the gaps of within this presentation. So why transitions? First, because UP Baguio before 2002 used to be UP College Baguio. So it was a college under UP Diliman. So our officials at UPCB were reporting to the Chancellor of UP Diliman. We didn't have a chancellor then at the UP College Baguio. It was headed by a college dean because it was a college. So UP College Baguio was started in 1961, as may have been discussed in the earlier series of this Talastasan. So when it was still UP College Baguio, I entered UP College Baguio as a college freshman in 1982. And it was then UP College Baguio. And the college was divided into three divisions: Division of Humanities, Division of Social Sciences, and Division of Science of the Sciences. So at least three transitions for the communication program. First, being a part of the old UP College Baguio to the 7th constituent university of the UP system, when in 2002 it became University of the Philippines, Baguio. Now, more specifically, the College of Arts and Communication came from the old Division of Humanities of the old UP College Baguio. So it was yet the Division of Humanities before College of Arts and Communication in 2002. And then it was it was earlier called BA Mass Communication parenthesis Journalism, and then in 2002 it became BA Communication. So these are the broad strokes of transitions in relation to UP Baguio, and then the College of Arts and Communication, and then the BA Communication program. So let's go into the details. So when it was still UP College Baguio and Division of Humanities, the following were the degree programs: BA Mass Communication parenthesis Journalism, and according to records, this was instituted and approved by the UP Board of Regents in 1983. And this, together with BA Speech Communication, also instituted and approved by the Board of Regents in 1983. And then there was also BA Theater Arts. At least when I joined the program in the 80s, there was BA Theater Arts. And then all three programs, or all three degree programs, could minor in broadcast communication. So broadcast communication uh, has always been a minor until years later. Also part of the Division of Humanities was comparative literature. So several of the faculty members of the Division of Humanities were literature or English majors. Now, personally, as I said, I entered UP College Baguio in 1982. I did not start with the BA Mass Communication program right away as a freshman. I, I applied actually to UP Baguio, indicating BS Biology as my chosen program. So as a freshman, I started in BS Biology, and then I and then after one semester, I went to BS Mathematics. And then after another semester, I went from math to mass communication. So so I suspect then, I was not very aware of this yet because I entered in 1982, but the BA Mass Communication program was instituted in 1983, which means in 1982, when I was a freshman, the BA Mass Communication Journalism program was not yet there. It was instituted when I was a sophomore, and that time I shifted into the program, which means I may have been part of the first group of students to enroll in the BA Mass Communication Journalism program of UP Baguio in 1983. Uh, and then we had classmates who were doing BA Speech Communication, and then there were others who were doing theater arts, and other students minoring in journalism, others minoring in speech communication, and still others going into theater arts. Some for the degree, and others for the fun and for the sake of the arts. Yeah. The- so I suspect I was part of the first batch of students in the newly instituted BA Mass Communication Journalism program in 1983. I remember we were not many students, not more than 10. I think not even more than 5. We had classes where we were just 3, 4, 5. So we didn't have large classrooms then at UP Baguio. We had half classroom sizes, so we would easily fit into the small classrooms with just 3 or 4 students. Yeah, that was how small we were in the 80s. Uh, uh, Perhaps before going, so I'd like to talk about our early years in the BA Mass Communication program before we jump to the next transition. Uh, so I remember the f- the first teachers in the mass communication program were not mass communication graduates, I suspect. I think, but they were they were trained in the UP College Baguio outcrop, which is the campus newspaper or campus organ of UP Baguio. So I remember um, Oscar Campomanes. I think he served in the editorial staff of the outcrop as a student, but he was actually a comparative literature major. And then we had Erlene Ruth Alcantara, a publishing professional now, but ba- uh, Baguio Baguio citizen, uh, as our among our first teachers. For broadcast communication, we had Rosa Maria Tapang, now Feliciano. She's a professor now at the College of Mass Communication in Diliman, also broadcasting. Uh, in her class, she told us that she was working before joining UP Baguio and teaching broadcast communication courses in 1983, 1984. She was with Bombo Radio. So I remember that she brought to class a radio drama artist, and she demonstrated the different voice skills that you need to do for radio drama. I also remember that we did our broadcast communication laboratory activities at DZEQ Radyo ng Bayan at Polo Field in Pacdal. Uh, they had Jurassic at that time in the 80s. They had Jurassic equipment, but uh, but they were working fine, and we did our exercises, spinning vinyl records, announcing in uh, in the old studios of the station DZEQ Radyo ng Bayan. It's a government radio station. Um, so our teacher then, I suspect, must have been coordinating with Radyo ng Bayan so that we can make use of their equipment at the same time that they were doing actual live broadcast of programs. Uh, I also remember that for that during our time in the program, we produced a laboratory magazine, and we called it 111 because magazine writing is journalism 111. So we called our laboratory magazine 111. And then we also put out a laboratory newspaper, and it was called Pinpin, after Tomas Pinpin, being the recognized father of Philippine journalism. So, so during those years, our journalism training was very hands-on. We did actual studio work for Broadcom, and then we produced, raised funds for our laboratory magazine and our laboratory newspaper. I hope they still have copies of these outputs at the UP Baguio Library. As a student, I remember watching theater productions at the old Bulwagang Juan Luna of speech com and theater arts students. Uh, there was a theater production called Lam Lamang, yeah, and the faculty members then are the known playwrights of the Philippines today. So I mentioned these things because BA Mass Communication, BA Speech Communication, and BA Theater Arts, as was already stated by Professor Fay, are the three programs that merged to form what is now the BA Communication program in 2002. At the same time that UP College Baguio became UP Baguio. UP Baguio being the seventh constituent university under the UP system. So let me repeat: BA Mass Communication Journalism, BA Speech Communication, and BA Theater Arts, and minor Broadcast Communication were were collapsed, were collapsed and became the BA Communication program in 2002. And then the faculty decided that the majors would be journalism and speech communication, and then the minors would be journalism, speech communication, and broadcast communication. So what is noticeable here is that we dropped theater arts entirely. I believe the main reason then was the number of students. The enrollment was very low, like one or two. So at that time, it was perceived as no longer sustainable. Meanwhile, journalism and broadcast communication were becoming popular courses because in the 80s radio, television, and newspapers were still the dominant media. So as was stated by Professor Abalos also, the communication program was responding to the realities of the moment. So that's why journalism, broadcast communication, speech communication uh, became more popular over theater arts. Oh, that is not to say that the theater stopped at UP Baguio. UP Baguio still had a dynamic theater program or theater productions because of student theater groups like Tabak and several other student organizations uh, that were into theater. So the BA communication program did not stop at what was at its did not stop at its format in 2002 because in 2018 and 2019 this college brochure identifies 2019 as the year for the transformation of BA communication into its current form, but other documents seem to point to 2018. I suspect the discussions happened in 2018, the serious discussions and writing of curricular proposals happened in 2018, and then the final approval of the Board of Regents happened in 2019. But this one needs to be clarified. So what is the change? What is the nature of the BA communication program in 2019? We it the major change is the elevation of broadcast communication as a major area of concentration. So now instead of just two areas of concentration, our BA communication program now has three major areas of concentration: journalism, speech communication, and broadcast communication. And the same three disciplines are also the minors in the program. Or students could minor also in journalism, speech communication, and broadcast communication. Uh, let's go to some details. Uh, so again, as was stated by Professor Abalos in the introduction, the communication program always tried to be relevant. So even before ethics and law have been included in our general education program early on, as early on in the transformation and development of our communication program, the faculty members made sure that communication students study ethics in communication, and also law on communication and media. So uh, we could say that the study of ethics and law in communication preceded the concern for ethics lately in our latest GE program. So communication ethics was already incorporated in 2002, and also law on media. Earlier, they were just electives. Yeah. Also to put a local angle, or to build regional roots, or to incorporate the regional roots in the communication program, the journalism faculty instituted community journalism, or Journ 107, into the program to take care of journalism in the regional areas, and also as a reaction to a generally Manila-centric media at the time and up to today. Also, in response to the development of communication technology and the convergence of traditional and new media on the internet, the faculty already years earlier instituted online journalism. It was also seen that investigative journalism uh, was a useful skill that the Journ majors should study. Also, because of the visual turn in communication, photojournalism was made a required course for journalism students. Now, in the speech major program, the faculty also instituted culture and speech communication to add more relevance to the speech communication program. Uh, the communication program, our BA communication program, was also affected by transitions in the general education program of the university system in general. So, as a freshman in 1982, I went through the old GE program, and so we had freshman English, we had English 1 and English 2, and the textbook was called Freshman English. And then we had speech 1, and we had math 11, and a course called Social and Political Thought, where we studied Plato and the other classics. Uh, Thinking back about our GE program then, I thought the emphasis was developing student skills in writing and speaking, and in the classic thought. Uh, I thought this was the emphasis then. So our teachers drilled us on writing briefly, writing using the right words, using the precise words, preferring the specific over the general, etc. And then later, the GE program, in the communication program, and in other courses uh, was referred were revised, and they were called revitalized uh, general education courses. Uh, so I remember the English courses now being called communication 1, communication 2, but they were basically writing courses. There was still Oh, speech one was called communication three. So sometimes this one confused students. They thought that the communication one, communication two, communication three were already part of the major courses in the BA communication program. But most students, communication majors or not, had Com one, Com two, Com three as GE courses, but they were not uh, strictly the major courses of under the BA communication program. And then there was a time when the revitalized GE program was further revised, um, and to the nature of such a GE program was that it was free choice for students. The faculty were encouraged to come up with new GE courses from which students can choose certain combinations from the humanities GE, from the social science GE, and the natural science GE courses. And then most recently, with the overhaul of the general of the basic education program in the country, where we now have the K to 12 program. Our GE program has now been recently revised also to respond to this change in the basic education program in the entire country. So the current GE program is now the post K to 12 GE program, and we no longer have many of these old GE programs. Some of them, of course, have been revised to be part of electives under the post K to 12 GE program. I'm not sure I'm calling them correctly, but uh, these are my just my way to classify them. Uh, they're all just really called GE, but there are some adjectives attached to them just to differentiate them from each other, because uh, because the GE choices can be confusing, especially especially if you're taking time to graduate from the university and you started with an old GE and you transition to the newer GE, etc. And it can be confusing and it can be problematic for some students. Okay. Uh, we have this as the statement of the latest statement of the mission of the Department of Communication. So this is the most current mission statement of the Department of Communication. The mission of the Department of Communication is to produce graduates who are equipped with excellent oral and written communication skills, competent in the application of communication theories, trained in communication research, attuned to media trends and processes, and skilled in the use of media tools. So I quoted that from this brochure that was produced in 2020, but never got to be distributed because of the pandemic. So this brochure has been COVIDed. So we have plenty of copies in stock at the college. Oh, so let me talk about other transformations in the college. So I told you earlier that during our time in the 80s, we held our studio laboratory at an old government radio station in Pakdal. Now we are proud to have our own radio studio. We are proud to have our own TV studio with an entire rooms dedicated to them. We also have a journalism laboratory, and we have a theater, uh, a multi-purpose theater for performances, for speech activities, for performance activities. Before we didn't have somebody to help us set up our makeshift studio and other equipment. Now we have an additional administrative staff whose main assignment is to serve as a laboratory assistant. In the person, of course, of Marvin, who is joining us this afternoon. In relation to students and our graduates, in 1982, we were just around 10 students from first year to fourth year and extending students. Now the Department of Communication or the communication program plays around the 400 figure as a total number of first to fourth year and extending students. So this is the number we are working with. Our students in recent years have also imbibed our culture of research, the culture of research that the university wants all constituents to imbibe. So several of our students had the privilege to attend and present their papers in international conferences with assistance, financial assistance from the university. And still some of our students were also able to successfully publish their papers in refereed journals. We are proud of our students who have been employed in local, national, and international media outfits, aside from joining the other professions such as teaching, law, and other professions. So we are proud of our students and their achievements. Based on this brochure and based on my counting, we have 11 full-time faculty members in the Department of Communication. Full-time meaning they occupy full-time appointments, even if perhaps these appointments are not permanent, but they serve as full-time. Some are studying, some are teaching full-time, but they're still considered full-time faculty. So I counted 11. And at least 5 lecturers. We have at least 4 or 5 perennial or constant lecturers, and the others are just one-shot lecturers. I think we have the biggest number of lecturers this semester, more than 5. So our faculty members have been presenting papers also in international conferences, local, national, international conferences. They've been publishing in refereed journals and books as chapters of books. Some of the faculty members have edited books and journals. And because of publications in international journals, refereed journals, and books, several of our faculty members in the Department of Communication have won international publication awards. I'm counting 5 of the members of the faculty of the Department of Communication having won such awards. Several of the faculty members have also won the Gawad Chancellor for pinakamahusay na junior at senior faculty. Several of our faculty members too are awardees of the 1UP Professorial Chair / Faculty Grant Awards. And our faculty members continue to serve the university in key administrative posts, and they also serve the public in terms of extension service. And I think that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dean Fong. I'm going to make this lighter because I had a very heavy introduction. Parang nga overacting ng introduction ko. Anyway, if I remember it right, tama ba Dean? I used to be a BA Speech Communication and my minor then was theater arts. And I'm looking at the list of participants and I hope this is not exactly to put you on the spot, Mr. Dennis Gutierrez, but can you tell us a little bit about the Broadcom major? Because I remember you had a fork. You had a fork just to get signal or something for the broadcast studio way back. That's how how do you call that? Jurassic you were before, Dennis.
Ah, na on the spot pala. On the
Sorry, I
spot.
love you. This is a talk show now. Sorry.
Oo nga, it's love show na. Magandang hapon, Dean. Hello, everyone. Say, um, way back, nung college ako, yung ba yan? Kung ano itsura nun, nung
Yeah, yeah.
oo, everything was, merong, ano, yung CD player, tapos may vinyl records pa nun, di ba, sir?
May chip.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Oo, may plaka. Tapos, there was a time noon na ang editing na ginagawa namin ay may camera, sinushoot yung nasa TV, tapos play pause sa TV para dun sa mga cut. Um, ano yun, grabing ang tawag nito, manual lahat. Na-achieve naman yung latag pagkakasunod. Pero ganun yung time noon. Although yung fork na signal, hindi yata namin batch on, pero I heard na parang tinatry noon. Pero nung nag-college na ako, ano siya, mayroong plaka, mayroong tapes pa nung time na yon na nire-rewind gamit ang ballpen. Tapos, kung minsan pa, pag kulang yung, kung gusto mo ng additional na equipment at kung meron ka o meron ka mahiraman, dadalhin mo. Pero ipapalag mo kay sa office na ito, equipment mo para hindi ka questionin kapag bit-bit mo palabas. Para safe. Yun, and the tape recorders noon, meron naman doon, pero pag kailangan mo pang isa, so pwede mong ipag-connect lang yung mga wires. Ayun, yung mga time na yon. Tapos may mga bit-bit pa kami noon na mga camera na ang laman ay V8. V8 pala, V8. Tapos ako ang gamit ko noon VHS eh. So ang laki-laking ganitong camera, dala-dala may VHS sa loob. Tapos ayun naman, but yung office nung time na yon, if you need to edit, pwede kang mag-edit hanggang 6, yung ganon. 6:30 ng gabi, tapos hintayin ka, sasoli mo yung susi. So, yan. Mga time noon.
Thank you, Sir Dennis Gutierrez. No, sorry, I
Thank you po.
placed you on the spot. Jim, you want to say something?
Yes. Those words from Dennis also show us that the communication program grew or developed with the transitions in technology development in communication. So from vinyl discs to cassette tapes to VHS or VA to VHS and then to digital. So yeah, those are interesting parallels sa development ng ating communication program.
Sorry, para ako nagpapagraded recitation. Parang I saw Doris, Professor Wilson, kasi she's just a batch lower than me. Doris Wilson way back was a theater major and a speech minor. So she was my classmate all the time. Doris? I saw Doris here a while ago. Mama, sorry, tell us something about yung experience natin with SpeechCom, tapos theater arts way back. How was it?
OMG.
OMG.
Yeah, so nag-start ako, 3 kami sa batch. And shout out do sa 2 batchmates ko na Noel ang parehong name. At ako lang yung natira dun sa batch na yon. And nung nag-start na kaming mag-theater major, ako na lang yung natira. Tapos, diretso nang sumasama kami sa Dulaang UP Baguio na sa mga productions ng Dulaang UP Baguio. Tapos, ang maalala ko, yung pinakatumatak sa akin during that time, napaka-sigla ng theater performances. Kasi merong student organizations, yung tabak, tapos meron pa rin yung kabute, sina Ferdy, malulubog lilitaw. Tapos may performances nilang biglaan na lang. Tapos, yung mga theater majors, so every sem merong uh, theater performances through Dula ang UP Baguio. Tapos, yung mga thesis, yung theater thesis. At saka kahit ang speech noon, di ba? Meron ding theater or yung production na thesis. Tapos, yun, dahil kakaunti lang dun sa klase, talagang wala kang lusot sa recitation pag sa speech.
Yeah,
So, ang naalala
that's
ko mga
true. That's
teachers,
true.
si Ma'am May Barros noon. Tapos,
Apat lang tayo nun eh. Oh,
oo.
so,
Yung isang maalala ko, hindi ko alam kung naalala mo pa, yung nagklase tayo doon sa may bubong ng ano.
yeah, dun sa his old humanities division na faculty room,
Oo.
'di ba?
So, usually sa labas, kung gano'n. Tapos, naalala
Mm,
ko din yung directing classes na doon sa may ano, yung sa may right side ngayon ng oblation,
mm,
doon nagpapa-klase nun si Kate. Tapos, o di ba
mm.
yung basis pa yung mga pangalan noon, Nina, yun yung mga
Oo, yeah.
Piason, nung later.
Yeah.
Tapos, masigla yung theater
Yeah.
na program before. Tapos, yung sa speech, dan mas marami ang speech kasi kaysa sa theater. Di ba?
Oo. Yeah, like we were I think 12 or 10 Dean Gym, parang ganun eh. Tapos some of our batchmates in speech com, their minor were in broadcast or journ. So, parang way back circa 80s, 90s, the batch of speech com and theater arts and mass communication were just a small group, and they're all actually most of them are members of several student organizations like Tabak, Kabute. So we all work together. That's why we know each other, I think, which was an advantage
Yeah.
during our time.
We could say that's an important feature
Yeah.
of the program during that time. Small in number,
Yes.
small in number. So so the yeah so the class sizes now, the big large class sizes now are unimaginable compared to
Correct.
80s and 90s.
Yeah, that's true. Because if I remember it right, Dean, you never became my teacher way back in college, but we have worked together several times in theater productions. So yung walang sugat, going to CCP with the faculty and the students. So that was, I think, the kind of vibe we had way back. Eh. So across batches, you get to know the faculty and the students as well. So it was that small. Um, pero there were changes when the new BA communication was implemented already in 2000. And I think I see Sir Zeke, Professor Fajardo in the list. My God, he's gonna kill me. Yan.
Ako, yan ang sinasabi
Oo, yun
natin
nga.
eh.
Graded recitation to eh.
Graded
Oo.
recitation.
Pagbalik ko na sabbatical na to eh. O, dapat.
Yun lang. I think, ayan, thank you rin po. Well, thank you talaga, guest
Oo.
speaker. Gusto ko lang po dagdagan muna yung ano ni Dean kanina dun sa recent program ng BA Communication. Like, yes, it was approved February 7, 2019 by EVP Herbosa. Pero, pina-implement na siya ng 2018. So, yun. Yung pong question, I think yung bagong program ng BA Communication.
Yeah,
Kami
kasi
parang yung
you were the
second
second batch.
Yes, we're the second batch who were part nung yung BA Communication na dalawa pa lang ang major nun. Speech Communication and Journalism.
Journalism.
Tapos kami nun, ako speech com, ang major ko, minor ko broadcasting. And ayan, yung mga contemporary, eto na yung mga panahon na kami, Shikay na Kerry,
Yeah.
mga dati rin nating faculty, no, si Michael Jensen Garcia, pero eventually transferred to UP Diliman nung student. Yun. Ano ba? Ano pong gusto nyong malaman?
Kamusta? Ano ba 'to? Kamusta yung experience? Sabi ko na nga ba, eh. This is my first time to be an MC, by the way. So there. It's my first time ever. Okay.
Hindi kasi sa tingin ko noon, yung pag-merge ng curriculum, no?
By the way, naging estudyante ko si Yan Yan.
Opo, naging
Oo.
estudyante ako ni Dean, ni
Oo.
Ma'am Faye, no?
Yung Sir Dennis Gutierrez, naging estudyante
hindi
ka rin.
hindi na yata, no, Sir
Ay, di na
Dennis.
yan.
Hindi na. Parang kakapasok lang yata ni Sir Dennis nung 4th year kami.
Yung batch na yon.
Oo. I think dahil nga kami yung, kumbaga kung ang first batch, ang parang mga guinea pig, siguro, no, yung mga the likes of Butch Mendizabal, Chris
Correct.
Salamat, no, Charis Lumanlan, kami siguro yung parang tipong na ano na yon. Parang, eto na yung mga, eto na yung dapat gawin dito sa curriculum na ito. At sa tingin ko, ang effective nung yung program na meron tayo noon, kasi parang meron kang core communication, sabi nga ni Dean kanina, 'di ba, na may communication ethics, no? Communication theories na parang natulungan kami to think critically. The same time na meron kang appreciation dun sa specialization mo, which is speech communication. Yun. So, yun po, tingin ko. Hindi ready.
Hindi ready. Oh. Sorry.
Joke lang po yun. Pero yun po, yun yung isa. At saka, gusto ko lang ring idagdag na ang daming mga graduates ng BA Communication ang nag-serve at naging mga anchors sa mga respective regional TV stations.
Correct.
Mapabagyo man yan, Batangas, like the likes of Balbalita then, no? Yeah. Dito sa Baguio City, marami tayong mga graduates ng UP Bagyan. Sina Caroline Bongkin, no? Who eventually nag-CNN din, no? So, ibig ko sabihin, kalat yung mga graduates ng BA Communication, Justin Aguilar din, no? Ng,
younger
ngayon ay
yan.
nasa
Younger
Dubai. So maraming mga graduates natin ang talagang nag-serve sa community. And I think yun yung strength rin ng BA Communication program.
Yeah.
Well, to be more specific, Broadcom, no?
Correct. Kasi if we, hindi naman sa nagtataas tayo ng bangko, but if we compare it with other communication programs across other UP units, no? Actually, nauna ang UP Baguio in providing a more general perspective of communication. And the core courses that we have in communication is much stronger as compared to the other menu of other BA communication programs or mass communication programs in other UP units. So, in fairness, ours were parang atin yung ginaya eventually when they did the reconfiguration in 2018, 2019. So, medyo nakaka-proud naman yun. And I think one of the things that makes BA communication and the old BA mass communication, BA speech, BA theater way back very attractive to a lot of students who come from Manila and the lowlands, yung parang ayaw mo nang umalis ng Baguio. I think it's the interpersonal relationships that come with the students and then the students with the interaction with the faculty. And I like the mention here of Professor Wilson. We had very active academic organizations way back Yung Pluma, na-remember ko yun for the BA Mass Communication. And the training ground of Pluma, it really actually coincides with the training they get from the BA Mass Communication. Napakahusay nila when it comes to, if I remember it right, circa 90s kasi yun they were fighting for the assertion for implementing the rape bill and the sexual harassment bill. And Pluma and the MASCOM students and the faculty were very actively involved in that assertion. No? So that was way back. And then I think Yan's batch were the ones who did the speak up Oh, tama. Sila
Parang
yon.
nauna
Kayo yon,
yata
yan,
po
yan.
na Charis, yung
Sila
2002
Charis.
batch,
Oo,
the first
yeah.
batch. Pero we're part of it already na kasi no, yun yung time na ano kami, kumbaga sila yung upper year.
Yes.
Tapos yun. So na-found yung speak up nung mga panahon na yun.
Oo. So parang I think the kind of vibe that we have way back in the 80s, 90s, no, and until now is still present in the way that we implement the curriculum, no. Although hindi minsan nakakalimutan ko, sorry yung pangalan ng mga estudyante ko, pero it's still a similar vibe, no. So do you want to say something? Miss Peñaflor?
Hi, ma'am.
Recitation, hi. Sorry, D.
Ma'am, parang wala pa naman po akong ma-share ko kumpara ko doon sa mga i-share nyo, ma'am. Mas madami talaga kayong pwedeng ma-share. Nagchat-chat nga po kami ni Ma'am Dory. Sabi namin, parang masarap po ito kapag F2F, di ba, ma'am?
Correct, oo.
Nakaka-miss.
Correct, nakaka-miss talaga yung face-to-face. No? So parang, and parang when we see all our graduates, I think Dean Jimmy feels that way also. It's nice kasi when they come back and tell you where they are right now, like we've had graduates who are Erasmus Mundus recipients. These are things that these are big things yung nakakakuha ng scholarship abroad, and then they are practicing in the media. And we've had ito I don't know but an undergraduate student should do a study on this. Ang dami nating abogado eventually, and these are good lawyers also. So parang nag-grow tayo no. And yan what did you see in the chat? And then yan said yung ano to, Doris, sa may dap-ay before, what's this? Doris?
Yes, di ba
Yes.
for yung mga activities, parang may bonfire before sinimento yung yung dun sa may harap ng CAC, nagbo-bonfire doon. May events paggabi, tapos may pakape. Reminiscing ba? Kasi kung sa face to face ito, maganda nga siya na
Actually, oo. Tapos parang if I remember it right, Dennis, do you remember that nung college tayo? Yung mga ek-ek na poetry reading session sa lobby, poetry
Nabigla
reading
na lang.
session sa pond, parang wala lang, trip lang. And then the faculty will just join. Not only faculty from COM, no? But these are faculty members also from the Lit, from the Humanity, from the other departments, na talagang feel din naman nila nakikijoin, even the social science faculty, if I remember it right.
Meron mga parang poetry night
Yeah.
sa parking lot, kung minsan sa lobby, yung lumang lobby. Ang daming yung performance spaces, hindi limited sa Bulwagang One Luna. We find our spaces hanggang Woods sa likod.
Correct.
Pati yung sa pond, yung sinasabi ni Doris, then yung sa harap ng CAC, yung may nagpo-bonfire tayo doon, may kape, may performance, may Pero later na yon, mga 2000s na yon.
Oh. Tapos parang, Dean, do you remember? Parang naalala ko nung college ako, dun sa room 210, dun sa creepy hallway ng 2Os, yung, di ba you do have a television studio there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our old radio and TV studio. Cum classroom.
And then, di ba you used to parang you have TV shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, may mga TV shows din way back, no? Tapos, so we can see those things, no? But the innovation in technology is really the one that contributed the most in the change of landscape. If we can do a research from the Betamax, ano ba yung Betamax, VHS, hindi nag-bloom yung Laserdisc eh. And then, ngayon we watch na on media, etc., etc. Makikita natin yun, no? So parang there's so much to see and play around with, no? Any questions from the younger ones? Talagang younger ones. Yeah, I feel so old. Anybody here? Para ako nagpapa-recitation. Buti na lang konti tayo, no? Tama ba to? Can anybody from the younger batch say something or share?
Also, while waiting for them, maybe it's just good to enumerate the major media outfits in the country where we find our graduates. So, for example,
Correct.
we are at the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Our graduates are at GMA. Our graduates were at ABS-CBN. Our graduates were at TV5. Our graduates were at CNN Philippines, etc. So our graduates have been well placed.
Correct. And to
Different
take
levels.
to sundot the pride there, Dean, no, are a lot of our graduates are not just into the media practice, but they manage, meaning they can change the way the media agency actually thinks. So, which is very interesting. So we have CEOs in ABC5, etc. So nakikita natin nag-evolve and they really bring in the tatak CAC and the pride of being a DC. Yeah.
Also, the Philippine Information Agency, we have
Correct.
there, and we have information officers of the different line agencies of government. Yeah.
Correct. So, kumbaga parang we may not be as resounding as some of the departments as compared to other constituent units, pero in fairness, hindi naman tayo nahuhuli. Even in publications and research. So if we compare it, we were doing that way back then, remember when we were reconfiguring the BA communication for the 2018, nakita natin na actually parang even other units, faculty from other units who are in the field of communication, they recognize how different BA communication of UP Baguio is really all about. It's more interdisciplinary. It has a different flavor as compared to that of the others. And we have good students when they enroll in graduate programs. They actually perform very well. So hindi nakakahiya magbigay ng recommendation.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Oo, they do well.
The major call centers too, we are there.
Yeah, I know.
Of course.
Yeah. Does it mean they have speaking voices that are very good?
Exactly.
Thank you, Speechcom. And Broadcom, diba? So, anybody here who wants to share? I remember the Broadcom 130, the short films that they show every year. It is something that Baguio people actually look forward to. No, it's not just the Baguio audience, but we have a larger audience outside. And we've had BECom students who won awards in film. No, so they have a different way of looking at things. I mean, iba yung talent na hone inside the university. So
that's true. We are not really a film program, but several of our graduates have worked professionally in film outfits.
Yes, that's true. So any more? O di ba? Parang ang daldal natin, ang dami sa chat, pero hindi ko mabasa lahat. Okay. Yan. Any more? Do we have questions, by the way? That Dean Fong will answer, not me. Any questions about the BA communication program? Okay. There's a question here. Pwede po ba maibalik ang theater? Dean, ikaw ba sasagot nito o ako?
Ikaw na muna.
Ako muna. Okay. As part of the theater faculty before, way back in the 96, 97, 98, yung year na yon, no? It's very difficult right now to come up with a theater program. It has something to do with training of the faculty already. Training and preparation. Okay. And recruiting students who can actually go through the rigor of the theater program. And I think Doris knows how difficult it was. It just looks easy from the outside, but if you're a theater major or a theater minor, akala mo umaarte-arte ka lang dyan. But actually, the research part of theater is one of the toughest thing to do. Dean, you wanna answer?
Yeah. One reason for institutionalizing a program will be the market demand or community demand for the program. If we can imagine Baguio City or Northern Luzon having a vibrant theater program, then maybe we can imagine reopening a theater program at UP Baguio. But it's also possible that if we revive our theater program, it may contribute to the revival of theater in Baguio or in Northern Luzon. So it's a chicken egg thing. But who knows? Who knows how Baguio society or Northern Luzon society will develop in the future? If we can afford theater, or we can develop a culture of theater in Baguio and in Northern Luzon, then we may have the market for a theater program.
So I think in the meantime, we can still try to revive that the culture of performance. Actually, in the university, through Dula ang UP Baguio, para ako nag-promote. And I think we still have tabak. And hopefully, we all get bakuna already so we can do face-to-face. Diba? Because theater is best appreciated live. So that's a difficulty also. So I think we can go through that first. Is there another question here? You're free to type questions here on the chat box. Questions that we can answer, ha? Baka naman hindi na naman masagot ni Dean Jimmy yung iba. Tsaka hindi namin masagot. Any younger batch here? Are there freshmen? Okay. Okay. So, puro pasasalamat dito. O, pasasalamat sa lahat. Hi JR, sabi ni Zenas. Okay. So, there's a hi there. Any more questions? Things you want to know about the BA communication? Or do you want me to throw the last question? Dahil wala kayong choice, I will throw the last question. Okay. Dean, what is the trajectory of BA communication or communication studies, looking at it from 3 to 5 years from now?
Yeah, it's a challenging question. But somebody said the future is indigenous. It seems to me there is a turn to the indigenous. Perhaps we have explored all that is of the West already, and we have had
Correct.
too much of the West. It
Yes.
seems to me it's time to turn back and go back to what we have, to look critically again at what we have, at Philippine culture, at Philippine indigenous culture, and indigenous communication systems. I'd like to imagine our communication program going that way. Yeah.
Yes. And I like that answer, Dean. No? By the way, the new PhD Indigenous Studies program, nag-plug, no? The PhD Indigenous Studies program has already been approved, and I think it will be ready for offering, tama ba? This academic year.
Yes.
And the Faculty of Communication has contributed greatly to that program, as well as the Department of Language and Literature and the Arts faculty. So College of Arts and Communication has a stake there. So this is how we see it: communication, language, literature, the fine arts. They are actually the most fluid and and multidisciplinary. So we can actually see our imprints in all these degree programs. No? And looking forward, I think, which is part also of the trajectory of communication, is hopefully crossing our fingers 3 to 5 years from now, a master's research program probably. That has a different flavor also. Dean?
Yes, of course. Of course, the Department of Communication should prepare for and look forward to offering a graduate communication program. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. So any more questions before we end? I just said I'll throw the last question, no? Diba? Parang ang weird nun. Any more? None? Any more comments? I'll try to end it this way, no? Actually, in fairness, and we do take pride in that from such a small number of faculty members. The Department of Communication has grown so much for the past years. So we see the active involvement of our faculty, even our students. We can actually see the leadership abilities of everyone here. So it is a thank you for everyone. And so before we formally close this program, we would like also to thank actually all the chancellors. Tama ba, Jim? Diba? The chancellors of UP Baguio and the former deans who have always been supportive of the communication program. So, tama ba? We had Dean Tolentino way back, Sir Del, and then Dean De Lima, Dean Kalinawagan, and then our former chancellors, Chancellor Priscilla Macan Santos, Chancellor Rovidios, and even our next na transition, our current chancellor, Dr. Corazon L. Abansi, who has shown ever since she was a VCAA full support to the Department of Communication and to the faculty of the COM and the students of communication. So we would like to hear the closing remarks of Dr. Corazon L. Abansi, the new Chancellor of the University of the Philippines, Baguio. I think she has a pre-recorded thing. Okay. Sorry, Erica or Zenas is we're waiting for the closing remarks.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Te.
Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. I have the pleasure to greet you all on the closing of this iteration of the Talastasan of the UP Baguio's College of Arts and Communication. This week-long series of the CAC's Talastasan is held in celebration of UP Baguio's 60th anniversary since its re-establishment as UP College in Baguio in 1961. As such, it is truly timely and fitting to hold discussions on matters of our university's history and development, such as the transformation of UP Baguio from UP College to a constituent unit of the UP system, as well as the College of Arts and Communications academic degree programs in retrospect. Our 60th anniversary celebration of UP Baguio's formations and transformations is therefore further emphasized in the Talastasan theme, Retracing Our Roots, Shaping Our Paths. By giving emphasis to the act of remembering our own institutional development, we memorialize our significant contributions to the larger national context and likewise, to an extent, chart our role in the regional and global context. Moreover, while doing this, we also see that the truly UP and UP
Proud to be CAC!
Okay, thank you very much for that closing remarks from Dr. Abansi. There are some things that I think we need to parang some sort of a takeaway for today. No? So we've been talking about transition and transformation for the past few weeks, I think. No? Of course, I missed the other Talastasan lectures, but looking forward, what do we want to be and what do we want to become? How do we wish to transition, and how do we wish to transform eventually, whether as a communication major, as a fine arts major, language and literature major. Okay. There's one thing I think that makes the College of Arts and Communication um, different. We would like to make a difference. So when we transition into being the best. When we transform to become better communicators. Why? Because we need actually to serve the disenfranchised. So thank you very much for sharing this afternoon with us in Talastasan. And Miss Ma'am Erica is asking me to plug and thank, we wish to thank all the Talastasan staff members, all the committee members, and the faculty members who are here. We have Dr. Ruth, Dennis, Yan Yan, and JR Galetes. Is he here? Okay, so who else? The students who are here and the other faculty members who I missed to say hi and I haven't seen for a while. Okay, so we missed the faculty room actually. And Erica, thank you. Zenas and Benj Mayamo, the chair of the Department of Communication, Professor Jason Paulo Teles, and the chair of the Department of Language, Literature, and the Arts, Professor Rachel Pitlongay, and of course, the Dean of the College of Arts and Communication, Dr. Jimmy Balud Fong. Um, there is an evaluation link in the chat. Please fill it up, okay? So mall applications, I think the deadlines are up already. So can you please check it out for those who wish to take that master's degree? And of course, the PhD in Indigenous Studies, please check. And the talent determination test of the College of the Bachelor in Fine Arts and the Certificate in Fine Arts is coming soon. So let's wait for all of those things. And of course, the other activities of the College of Arts and Communication and the Department of Communication. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. So this is Faye Abalos, who's currently on sabbatical. I miss my colleagues and my students. Thank you, Dean. Okay, and this is my first time to be an MC. Thank you, Yan Yan, for teaching me how to do this. So thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye.